I don't even know how I'm gonna hold up all these books at the end. Hey everyone, it's me again, Brittany, and I'm here today with my last book haul of 2019, and she's big. I probably should have done a book haul before this one. I probably should have split this up into smaller, more reasonable portions, but once I got it in my head that I wanted to kind of combine all of the books into one ultimate last book haul of the year, I just kept to it. And now I have, I think, 47 books to haul for you again. I think last time it was 47 too. I don't know why. How do I accumulate so much? I wish I could tell ya. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. So, yeah, I haven't tried to do the thumbnail yet. I really don't know how I'm gonna do the thumbnail yet, so we're just gonna go for it because that seems more exciting. This is in no particular order. I am sorry if my summaries are atrocious because honestly, I just kind of want to get through this. I probably should start splitting up my hauls into more reasonable portions. Let me know what you guys like to see with hauls because I'm not really sure. Do you like one big massive haul like this? Do you like smaller hauls? Do you like monthly hauls? I would love to know, so please leave that down below so I kind of can manage this a little bit better. But let's dive in. As per usual, if I don't give a good enough summary, I do link all of the books in my description, so just follow that link if you want to purchase it or if you want to learn more about it. It should help you out. It's always a book depository link, that way anyone from anywhere would be able to purchase it if they wanted to because, you know, free international shipping. So, all right, let's dive in. Again, no particular order. I don't remember what order I got all of these in, so let's just go. Let's start with this pile. So the first book that I have is going to be Middle Game by Seanan McGuire. I was so excited about this book when it was first coming out. I love Seanan McGuire's work. She works on just a ton of things. Very, very talented author, and I was incredibly excited when I knew that she was gonna make a fantasy, an adult fantasy about twins that kind of complement each other. They were created, and one is really good at sciencey, mathematical things, and the other one is good with words and languages. Sorry, I had to double check, I couldn't remember. Other than that, I wasn't really sure what the story was about. I still haven't read it. I was going to read it around Halloween time and I did not get to it. So I am really excited though. I know that I'm going to enjoy it. I've heard really good things about it and I just feel like it's going to be such a fascinating read. Again, Seanan McGuire just has such a way with words and I've loved everything I've read by Seanan McGuire, so got high hopes. So let's set that down. All right, next up is going to be Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. I actually did read this, but I read it a little late. I was supposed to be reading it for Witchathon since Rhiannon was hosting that and had made Gideon the Ninth their group book, but I didn't get to it for the end of October. I did finish it though in November and I did enjoy it. The strange thing about this is though that I had some issues with the writing style overall, but the actual story was so good that I couldn't give it a lower rating. It's more of a sci-fi and it's a lot about lesbian necromancers, or yeah, lesbian necromancers. I feel like that's where I'm going to leave it at. That's all I knew going into it. I feel like that's all you really need to know going into it. Other than that, the story is pretty wild. It takes you in cool places. There are challenges and quests and a different world and a very interesting lore. So I did, again, enjoy the story quite a lot. I just had some issues with the writing style and I ended up having to re-listen to it on audio after the halfway point. Like after the first time I listened to it, past the halfway point, I realized that I wasn't absorbing it and I re-listened to it and I still didn't absorb it as well as I normally absorb audiobooks. So take that with a grain of salt though. Maybe it just didn't flow with me and maybe it'll be really well with you. Next up is The Sisters Grimm by Mena Van Praag. This is actually an arc of the book because it's actually going to be released in February of 2020. So I was really, really interested when the publishers reached out to me about this story. It basically has 4 sisters born of different mothers but all of the same father. They were all born on the same day and eventually they are all drawn together to go back into the forest to potentially meet their father, and 3 of them are meant to survive and 1 of them is not meant to. It just sounded very interesting. I love the Brothers Grimm. I love all of those fairy tales with the Black Forest and everything, so I really feel like all the inspiration that's going to be taken from that into this story is just going to create a really rich fantasy. This is an adult fantasy and how beautiful is this arc? I'm obsessed. Kind of switching paces here, we have My Favorite Half Night Stand by Christina Lauren. I actually purchased this from Book Outlet after I listened to it on Scribd before ever owning it. I loved this. Christina Lauren are very well known for their books. They have an amazing romance style, and I feel like they really are just a core part of romance, or definitely something that people try out first when they're first diving into romance, and I absolutely adored this one specifically. It has to do with Millie, who is a professor, and she's always been a little bit closed off, but she doesn't really mind that because she has her 4 best guy friends who are also professors. But when they have to go to a formal black tie gala and all of them are single, they realize that maybe they should join an online dating site so that they could potentially get a date to go to this black tie gala. And it all kind of gets a little bit crazy when Millie creates a fake profile and ends up linking with one of her best friends, and he doesn't know it's her, but she definitely is starting to develop feelings for him, and potentially he's developing feelings for this girl that he doesn't realize is his best friend. I really like how it turns out because it all kind of starts off with a one-night stand that she has with this guy friend, but they were like never gonna do that again, so it sets the tone really nicely. If you're even the least bit interested in romance, Christina Lauren is a great place to start, so yeah. And when I saw this for a good deal, I just had to. Next up, I have There Will Come a Darkness by Katie Rose Poole. I actually got this in an unplugged box, I believe, and it seems so interesting. I don't exactly remember anymore what it was about, but I remember thinking like, wow, like that. The deceiver ensnares the world with lies, to death's pale hand the wicked fall, that which sleeps in the dust shall rise, and in their wake will come a darkness. I believe that it's a group of people that kind of set off on a quest, and they will potentially become the chosen one kind of situation, and it has this backdrop of kind of being a little bit of a Greek style. If you can kind of tell just from the map, there are like temples and just the writing and everything, so I really feel like it's going to be pulling from mythology, and I feel like that's definitely something that I would enjoy. Plus, it's just a really pretty book. Oof, so pretty. I wish I remembered better what this was about. I just remember reading it for the first time and thinking that that was definitely something that I would enjoy. Next we have Heart of the Moors by Holly Black. This was a mistake on my part. I was really excited, obviously, when Queen of Nothing was coming out, and I was looking for book boxes that would have Queen of Nothing stuff in it, like hangover kind of recovery kits or collector's edition boxes, things like that. And I came across one on Shelf Love Crate's site, and it was gonna be like a mini getaway box for, I can't clearly remember what it was called anymore, but it gave me fairy wood vibes, if that wasn't what it was called. And I thought that it was a Queen of Nothing box and we would be getting Queen of Nothing inside and, you know, all that good stuff. So when I received it and I opened it up to find not Queen of Nothing, I was pretty shocked. I didn't realize that Holly Black was coming out with another book at the same time as Queen of Nothing with similar fairy themes and dark fairy enchanted forest vibes. So I ended up with it. I wasn't too excited about it, to be fair, but it looks like it's a Maleficent sort of retelling, so I might still give it a go. Let me know if you guys have read this, and also let me know if you made the same mistake as I did, or if I'm just, you know, clueless. So there's that. I feel like that wasn't a very positive note, but let's talk about something else. So let's talk about other things that I've collected of Holly Black's in this time. The first which is The Cruel Prince Barnes&Noble Black Edition. They released the pre-order for this months ago, and I pre-ordered it the moment that it came out on Barnes&Noble because I was worried that it would run out and that there wouldn't be any more, and I'm really excited that I did because I already own a couple editions of Cruel Prince, or just one edition. I believe I own the Owl Crate edition, which is really, really cool, and now I have just the Barnes&Noble Black edition because I already own Wicked King and Queen of Nothing in these, so they're all gonna match very nicely together. So there's that. And then speaking of Queen of Nothing, I have a few copies actually. So I have 3 editions of Queen of Nothing that I got. I have my Book of the Month edition because this was one of the options for the YA Book of the Month in November. I am a Book of the Month affiliate, so therefore I receive one of their books, well, I get to choose which book I get every single month, and I also have just an affiliate link and a discount code, which I always leave in my description in case you're interested in Book of the Month. And for this month, there wasn't anything that I was entirely too interested, or it was December. There wasn't anything that I was crazy interested in, but when I saw that Queen of Nothing was on there, that it would be like the Book of the Month edition with the little insignia, and that it would have the stamp, and that it was the classic cover that I don't own, or that I don't believe I own, I definitely went for it and picked it up, because you can never have too many editions of a book you love, which then goes into the Barnes&Noble collector's edition that I have, because again, I have Wicked King and I'd already gotten Cruel Prince, so I had to also get the black edition of Queen of Nothing. And I have the really super fancy Fairy Loot edition that came in their collector's edition box that has just this really amazing hardcover with the stenciled edges and the YA snake and the holly in the background and the crowns. And I unboxed this if you guys wanted to check out that video, so I will link that up above. I'm obsessed. Queen of Nothing is the third book in the Cruel Prince trilogy. If you weren't already aware of it, it's so great. It's full of just fae mischief, and it has a great hate to love and slow burn romance between Jude and Cardan. And Jude is a regular human girl in the fae world, which is not done, and Cardan is a fae prince, and he's a little bit cruel, so I really love it. I love it. I haven't read it yet, but I love it. So 3 editions makes sense, right? It doesn't make sense, I know. You guys don't have to tell me. So I also got The Beautiful by Renee Audier. This is actually the Fairy Loot. Am I in focus? Okay. This is actually the Fairy Loot edition. It's super stunning. I believe that this is actually the UK hardcover print. It's slightly different than the US. I prefer it over the US. And it has these amazing burgundy sprayed edges. The Beautiful is about vampires in New Orleans in the 1800s, 1872. And it follows one girl who is desperate to try and escape her past and her life in France as she comes to New Orleans and somehow gets dragged into the dark side of New Orleans. So it was I don't know. I expected more, I believe. I wanted more vampires, to be quite fair. So it sounded really great, but I was expecting so much more about vampires than vampire lore, and I didn't get that, so be aware of that. I know a ton of people really did enjoy the vampire aspect, so I believe that that was just me, my experience. So these next 2 books I actually got in an owl crate. They came together in that box because it was a month that we got 2 books in, and that's gonna be I Hope You Get This Message and Crier's War. I Hope You Get This Message is about the world is ending, and it's following 3 teenagers as they kind of try and cope with that and wrap their lives up in the next few days. And I really like this edition as well. It's sort of a neon green and navy. It just looks very aesthetically pleasing. While Crier's War also had some very interesting aspects of it. It's a very stunning book in general, but it was giving me sort of Greek vibes mixed with robot vibes, so I don't know why that was. Ooh, so it looks like it's about 2 girls falling in love, one of them human, one of them maid. Oh yeah, so it has to do with the autome and the human. So there are kind of like robot and human aspects of this, but the humans ended up being servants in this story. So yeah. Next up is going to be Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I was so excited. This is another book that I was incredibly excited for and just didn't get to. It is Leigh Bardugo's debut into the adult fantasy world, or urban fantasy, I believe, but it has to do with a college setting and Ivy League vibes and one girl who is trying to discover the cult-like stuff that's going on in the top houses, I believe. So there is some sort of mystery element to it. I believe there's also some just fantastical elements to it, and I'm interested to find out what it is. I've definitely seen very mixed reviews about Ninth House here. It also made me kind of hesitant to pick it up myself, but I know that eventually I will because it does sound really interesting. I love Leigh Bardugo's work, so I definitely want to support her in her adult journey. Let's talk about another book that I bought a million times, and that's going to be Darkdawn by... I don't even know why that's in there. Okay, so Darkdawn by J. Kristoff. This is the elephant in the room because this is probably my most anticipated sequel of the year. Finale in general as well, because this is the finale to the Nevernight Chronicles, and I have loved Nevernight for a while, for a year at least. Yeah, because I read it last year. So I started Nevernight last year, read Godsgrave, loved it, and waited for a whole year for Darkdawn to come out, and I still haven't picked it up, and I don't know why. This is the signed first edition for the US. US editions, so there's that. I got that one to match my US editions that I have of Nevernight, and I don't believe I've got, oh no, I have God's Grave, I don't have Nevernight, so there's that. And then I got the Illumicrate version of Darkdawn, which was stunning. This came in their getaway box, or you know, their collector's edition style box that they came out with for Darkdawn, and it was so stunning. I filmed that so long ago, but I haven't posted it yet because I kind of wanted to do it in tandem of me actually reading Darkdawn. Haven't done it yet, but this is the book that came inside there. It has amazing neon sprayed edges, also signed, and it's obviously the UK edition, which is beautiful. Then I have the Waterstones edition of Darkdawn, which has the black sprayed edges, and these ones I'm actually planning on kind of painting on the little stars because there was a constellation version of this for the Goldsboro edition that I thought I'd gotten and I never did get, so definitely want to do that. Also signed by J. Kristoff. There were so many opportunities for me to get the little cat, and I didn't get it, but that's okay because I actually found it in my God's Grave edition that I've had all along, so that's just dumb luck. And then one last version is the actual version that I pre-ordered, which is Darkdawn, the US edition pre-order form. This one isn't signed, I believe. Oh no, it is. Oh, okay. No, I don't know. I don't know why I have two. I think that one of them was pre-ordered and one of them came in the faecrate unboxing that I did, so that would make a little bit more sense. And that's how I ended up with 4 editions of Darkdawn and still haven't read one of them. So yeah, now that that's, you know, out of the bag, let's move on. I have, what do I have next? I have Witchlight by L.J. Smith. This is actually a bind up of one of the individual stories in the Night World books. I do own the bind ups of the Night World books, but when I saw that these started coming out and that they're on Book Outlet for a really good price, I decided that I'm going to slowly start collecting them. I really don't know if she's ever gonna finish the end of this series. I've talked about this in my bookshelf tour from this earlier on in this year. If you want to watch that, you definitely can, but it's about an hour, so to get to the part of me talking about this, you're gonna have to watch a little. But I decided to start collecting them because it is a series that I did really love as a child, and these books are very pretty, so. And once I collect them all, I'll probably get rid of the actual bind-ups. Next is Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd-Jones. This was an Owl Crate edition for October, I believe. It's a very spooky style book. I believe that in this world, there are things called bone houses where basically the dead come back to life, and that's what they're called, and I don't exactly know. I believe that maybe they don't always come back to life and they have to go on a journey to figure out why they're coming back to life. Something along those lines. Seems spooky either way. Then we have Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. This was also in that Owl Crate edition. It has these really stunning light gray sprayed edges. It's just a really pretty version of this book. I have watched the Haunting of Hill House Netflix series and I was really interested in the actual book, and I believe that you guys told me the Netflix series is actually a sequel of sorts to the actual story of Haunting of Hill House, so I'm really excited to try this one out and see what it's like. I was supposed to read it again for Halloween, didn't get to it. There is What Kind of Girl by Alyssa Scheinmel. This is an arc that I received that is also coming out in February 2020. I was really intrigued by this synopsis, but basically in it, there's a girl that one day comes to school and claims that her boyfriend has been beating her, and it kind of starts a whole debate on whether she's lying, because if he's been beating her this entire time, then why hasn't she come forward before now? Everyone starts taking sides and deciding who they want to believe. So I think that it's going to be a very poignant story and very hard-hitting. So I tend to really enjoy hard-hitting contemporaries and definitely jumped on board when they asked me if I wanted to receive a copy. Next we have How to Make Friends with the Dark by Kathleen Glassglow. I have heard stuff about this book and really good things. It's a very dark book. This is another one of those hard-hitting contemporaries, I'm pretty sure, that I would enjoy, but I don't really know that much about it, so I'm going to go into it blind, but I know that I heard amazing things, and that's why I actually picked it up when I saw it on Book Outlet, because people were really raving about this, and when I found it for a good price, I just kind of had to. These next few ones are actually going to be Book of the Month books. I again, have been an affiliate for a little while now, and I've hauled the 10,000 Doors of January. I tend to haul these in my reading vlogs, so check those out if you wanted to see like more in-depth talks about them. But this one, it's sort of a magical realism style book, and she is living in a house and each of the doors take her to different places, I believe. So that one seemed very interesting. Then we have The Song of the Crimson Flower. This one I actually was really intrigued by. It's following Asian folklore, and this girl denies her best friend, but then he's cursed, and then she promises that she's going to free him from the curse, and she falls in love with him along the way. Sounds like it's gonna be really cute anyways. Then we have Frankly in Love by David Yoon. I'm really excited to read this. I haven't gotten to it yet though, but I've heard really cute things about it. We have Frank Lee, who kind of is on a journey to love himself, I believe. I'm not entirely sure. I've seen just really great reviews though. Oh yeah, it has to also do with like the dichotomy of him being Korean but growing up in South California and just not really knowing where he fits in, and his family really wants him to end up with a Korean girl, but when he starts to kind of fall in love with a white girl, he just doesn't really know who he should be falling in love with and if he's doing the right thing and if he's denying a part of himself by not doing what his parents want him to do. So I was really intrigued though by the synopsis, because obviously just growing up, I feel like if you are more than one race, if your family is half anything, if your mom's one, if your dad's the other, or if you are like a first generation of anything in a new country, it's hard to know which one you relate to most or which culture to really fall into, and I just feel like that's going to bring a good talk to that subject. And then I have this one, which is actually, I didn't unwrap it because I thought that they'd mistakenly sent it to me because it's Color Me In, and I had chosen another book in that month, but when I emailed them, they told me that it was because I actually had put in my request too late, and so they'd already sent me this one. So I'm not entirely sure what this one's about, but we will find out. Next we have City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. I've heard so many good things about this series. It is an adult fantasy and I don't really know what it's about. I have no idea, but I've just seen the covers, I've seen the amazing reviews, I've seen just so many good things said about this series, and I wanted to join in on the fun, so I got City of Brass. The UK editions are actually prettier though than the US, so I'm debating. Once I read this, I'll decide if I want to get the UK editions as well, because I like having pretty editions of my favorite books. So I need to decide if it's gonna be a favorite yet, you know? And we have The Gilded Wolves. I have heard mixed reviews about this. I've heard absolutely phenomenal reviews where the writing is just beautiful and stunning, and it's bringing a new twist to a story that I feel like people have seen before. And then I've seen the other side where people say it's a little too similar to Six of Crows. It is a heist style story, but I don't know where I'm going to lie in it. I have read Roshni Chakshi's books in the past, and I do really enjoy her writing, so I'm excited to see kind of where I lie on this. Or have I enjoyed her writing? Yes, I have enjoyed her writing. So I'm excited to read this one myself. I know that people do say that sometimes it's a little too similar to Six of Crows, which is why I held off on buying it for so long, but I found this on Book Outlet and it was a great price. So I purchased it, and we will see, because Six of Crows was amazing. So if something is going to be just as good, then it'll be a great read either way. And again, Roshni Chakshi's writing, phenomenal. Then we have Shadow Frost by Coco Ma. I got this in a faecrate. It is absolutely stunning, and they gave us also a code for the audiobook, so I'm definitely going to have to hop on this one. I don't really remember what it was. She only has one job: to kill a demon that cannot die. Ooh, that seems really cool. I don't remember this one at all, actually, the summary or anything like that. I just remember being in love with the cover and being excited about the audiobook download. So yeah, I'm sorry. I feel pretty, I hate when I pull up a book and then I really just don't know what it's about, so this is why I need to do different styles of hauls. Next up, we have House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. Craig. This is a 12 Dancing Princesses retelling, and it has to do with these 12 sisters who live by the sea, and they are the Duke's daughters, but slowly they start dying off. Their mother has died, and slowly all the sisters start dying as well. And when they start going to balls in the middle of the night, it might tie all together, and they might discover why it is exactly that this family has been cursed. I actually just finished this one. I really enjoyed this. It has a lot of really amazing aspects in it. I thought I hadn't known the 12 Dancing Princesses story, but it turns out I did know it, so that was really fun to kind of catch on to the hints of the original story in the retelling of it. I feel like it was done very well. I loved the love story. There was a bit of a psychological thriller aspect to this as well, and maybe an unreliable narrator. So I had a great time. I think it had a lot to work with, but it did it really well, because obviously we had the mystery of why why these sisters were dying and what was going on, and we also just kind of got some good lovey-dovey scenes between our main character and a mysterious suitor. Then we have The Never Tilting World by Rin Chupeco. This is another book that I got in a faecrate, and two sisters broke the world, two sisters will save it. Oh, this one is actually really, really cool. So one was born of darkness, one was of light, and they kind of had to separate their kingdoms, but the world is dying because of that, so they have to fix it, because a long time ago, two sisters, that one was dark and one was light, had a fight, and that's how it ended up separating. I believe that it was along those lines, but this one seems really, really cool, so I'm excited to check that out as well. Then we have The Merciful Crow by Margaret Owen. This is another one I'm really, really hyped about. It has to do with merciful crows who are basically assassins, but that they are sent on mercy kills. So when people are too sick, they will kill them rather than let them suffer, or situations like that. But I believe the prince has to run away with them, and he promises them that he will give them a lot of money, because as merciful crows, they don't really have that much recognition or money to be able to spend, and if they're able to save him from a murder that is being plotted against him, then he will be able to give him the riches. So I thought that this one was really, really intriguing, and again, this is another stunning, stunning cover. Next we have A River of Royal Blood by Amanda Joy. This is actually one that I recently hauled in a fairy loot. That's actually already linked because that was the one that I also hauled the Queen of Nothing box in, and this one gave me really strong Three Dark Crowns vibes. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to love it because of that, because I just almost felt too many similarities to other stories that I've already read, like Three Dark Crowns, because there's two princesses that have to kill each other so that one can become the one true heir of the queendom, but there were also like Fae Instructor vibes, which gave me a little bit of Throne of Glass vibes, so I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to love it, but I don't want to judge it too harshly, so I definitely need to give it a shot. Then we have Winterwood by Shay Earnshaw. This book is so stunning. I recently broke it, and I have been really sad about it since then. I keep my books in really good condition, guys, and when I dropped this while filming my TBR for the month, I was really, really sad, and I'm sorry that it happened because it's so, so stunning. It definitely gives me Near Witch vibes. It has to do with a town, and they want to find the walker. Wow, I cannot remember what it's about. I just remember thinking that this gave me Near Witch vibes. So yeah, if you want more in-depth details about that, check out my TBR video because I had better thoughts on it then, but right now I just kind of want to get all these books out of the way. Next up, we have not one, but two copies of Supernova, but this was an accident. I accidentally pre-ordered it twice, and then even though I pre-ordered it twice, I didn't put in my information for the pre-order and missed out on the fun pre-order benefits that Marissa Meyer was doing. Try to say pre-order like 5 times fast because I cannot. So Supernova is the finale to the Arch Enemies Renegades trilogy. I have been reading Arch Enemies for months now, and I put it down halfway through and I haven't picked it back up, but I really, really need to because my dad has already finished it and he really wants to get on to Supernova. So some of you guys were saying that I should give my other copy to him, and I said the same thing, but when I offered it to him, he just said that he didn't really have any place for it because he is kind of in the process of moving, so yeah, I still just have 2 copies. I know that it's pretty easy to return things to Amazon, but it still makes me nervous and I haven't done it. So, and I feel like now it's just too late, so. Next we have Conceal, Don't Feel by Jen Kalanita. I received this for a sponsored video that I did in collaboration with Disney Book Group, and I was really, really excited about this. It's another one of their Twisted Tales series. Disney has been releasing these in the past few years where it's just kind of taking a villain story and twisting it and giving you a different vibe on it. And this one has to do with what if Anna and Elsa never really knew each other, and Elsa kind of grows up being alone but feeling as though she can remember her sister. And I'm really excited. Obviously, I'm absolutely obsessed with Frozen and Frozen 2 right now, so I have been dying to read this and I haven't gotten to it yet, but it's on my TBR for this month as well, so. Then we have Blood of the Elves by Andrzej Sapkowski. This is a book that one of you guys actually sent my way. This is the first book in the true series of The Witcher. It's the book after the first 2 of the short stories, and it starts the actual series of finding Ciri and helping her out and basically doing the storyline that we know and love from the video games, and I do believe that this is the storyline that the Netflix series also follows. I'm really obsessed with these books. I think that they are so well written and I cannot wait to get to this first one. I love Geralt of Rivia. I am very attached to his character and I feel very attached to him because I love the video game. So I'm excited to read that, and thank you so much to the lovely subscriber that sent it to me. Next we have this really cute edition of Peter Pan. This actually came in a faecrate, another one that I unboxed recently, and it is just a pocket size, amazing leather edition that's exclusive to them that they created. I don't own Peter Pan at all. I've never read Peter Pan, and I'm really excited to have this edition of it because I could really just carry this with me and finally read it because I love that movie. So, you know what's strange? Maybe that's why, because I actually have 2 editions of the Guinevere Deception, and I believe that the other one's over there. And the reason that I didn't have this in my pile was because I haven't uploaded the vlog yet where I unwrap it, but I got it in a subscription box, so I'm not gonna tell you which one. You can probably use your deduction skills and figure it out. But I got this one in a faecrate one that I've already unboxed and talked about, and then this one in a different box that I won't quite say yet just because that video is not up yet. But I love both of these editions. I love the classic just gold and purpley blues, but I love the sea green and silver that got changed in this cover. I'm really excited about this. This is a twist on the King Arthur tale, and I just feel like I'm really going to enjoy it. So I'm very glad that I got it in those subscription boxes, and I'm addicted to both of the covers, so I don't know if I could get rid of one. So hopefully I absolutely adore these books because I have the 2 pretty editions. Whew, we're getting to the end. Next we have Dark Age by Pierce Brown. I got this from the faecrate sale that was happening, so I also have the little signed book plate. They were doing a past items sale and I picked up Dark Age while I was looking at it. This is the first book in his new trilogy. So, or is it the first book in the new trilogy? Yeah, it's the first book in the new trilogy, I do believe. So I've absolutely oh no. This is the last book in his new trilogy. Or the second book? Second book. Apparently I don't know anything about Red Rising, but I did read the original trilogy. I absolutely adored the original trilogy. I love Darrow. I love the world. It has to do with this crazy world where everyone is born into a color and actual colors have different abilities. They have different strengths and weaknesses, and the reds are basically the lowest of the low. They're almost like enslaved to everyone else without really knowing it. And then there are the golds, who are the rulers of their society, who are physically, mentally, and overall just made better and meant to rule. So we have Darrow, who's born as a red, but who decides that he's going to become a gold and to take down their regime. That's a very good trilogy, so I'm really excited to jump into the new one, but I apparently need to get Iron Gold, then go into Dark Age, so I'm missing a book in the middle. Then we have Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin. This is a beautiful fairy loot edition with the bronzed edges. Alright, well, if everything looks a little bit different, it's because my battery died. I ate a meal, I got lipstick on my chin, waited for my battery to charge a little, and now I'm back and the sun's gone. So let's do our best to finish this haul strong because I was trying to rush it and I still didn't get there in time. My battery died. So obviously it's a little too long, but let's go back. I was talking about Serpent and Dove. So this has to do again with a witch and a witch hunter that have to marry each other to kind of console their separate faiths. It has definite hints of Catholicism in the witch hunter aspect of it all, and he's kind of trying to save face after attacking her in public, and she is trying to run away from her past. I did find this plot a little bit predictable, but it was kind of fun to just kind of see that hate to love, forced marriage kind of situation come to fruition, and overall, it's definitely kind of worth it. I will say, a lot of people were saying that this is pretty smutty. There is one smutty scene. I don't think that is enough to call this pretty smutty, but that's just me. And let's talk about the books that I got in Aladdin Ale. This is a beautiful library in Buenos Aires, in Argentina. I went there in my time in Argentina and I absolutely adored it. It was just so stunning, and I definitely wanted to pick up some books while I was there. I got books in Spanish because if I'm gonna get anything, I want to be able to kind of expand my Spanish reading. I don't normally read in Spanish. I get a lot of questions on that, and I am a lot slower of a reader in Spanish, and I tend to just kind of want to finish books as soon as possible, so I don't read as often in Spanish, but maybe this will kind of make me want to. So the first 2 books that I got were actually these stunning classics of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. We have Alicia en el País de las Maravillas, so Alice in Wonderland, and then we have Alicia a través del espejo, which is Alice through the looking glass, and obviously these are both written by Lewis Carroll, and they're just so pretty together. I'm really happy to have these on my shelves. I have so many editions of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. You think I would have read it by now. I even have an Alice's Adventures in Wonderland tattoo. I've had it for years and I still haven't read the book, so I feel very fake fan when I say that, but I need to read it. I definitely need to read it. So then I also got Harry Potter Harry Potter y la Piedra Filosofal, which is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, and this is the first book of, you know, the Harry Potter series, and he just looks so cute. I really liked the art style for this. I think that it's just very beautiful. I love the color palette. I love how he looks. It's just very nice. Hedwig's in it. It's just really, really cute, and I'm really happy to have this edition. And the last book that I got is probably one of the more exciting ones. Well, it's not, I don't know. But my mom got it for me. My mom got me all these books, actually. I was going to purchase them, but she kind of went ahead. And I told her not to get this one because it was a little bit pricey, but she still did. And that is El Nombre del Viento, which is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. This is a stunning edition that I actually don't own, and I really, really like these covers for it. So when I saw it in Spanish, I was just in love. I don't know if I'll ever get to reading this one in Spanish because she's thick, she's heavy, but I feel like if I did, I would just really get a better grasp for larger vocabulary words that I never ever use in Spanish, because even though I'm fluent, there are definitely times where I just realize that my vocabulary is very limited because people don't use huge words all the time, you know? It's hard to pick up on them when I didn't learn it, like in the country or in school or anything like that. So I'm excited about that. And the Luna, stop using the litter box. I'm trying to finish my video. Okay. And the last book of this haul is actually the only book that I got for Christmas, and it's definitely amazing, and that's going to be Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire by J.K. Rowling. This is the illustrated edition. Adam actually gave it to me. He was going to give it to me for my birthday, but it hadn't been released yet, so he gave it to me for Christmas, and I love it so much. She's so beautiful. She's so thick. I don't know how they didn't make her thicker because I feel like they should have, but maybe there just aren't as many pictures or pages of pictures in this one. Either way, I'm really, really excited to have this in my collection. I have been collecting the illustrated editions as they kind of come out, and this one is definitely a must. Goblet of Fire is going to be so beautiful. I can't wait to see how it was illustrated because this illustrator has been doing such a fantastic job, Jin K, and I just know that Goblet of Fire was meant to be a picture book. Like, the imagery in it and the movie is just lacking in certain aspects, so I'm excited to see how the book does it. That's it! Those are all the books. So I ended up having one extra book, so I believe that brings our grand total to 49 books hauled. That's wild, guys. Please let me know how you would like my hauls to be done. I obviously can't sustainably do it this way. I didn't remember half the summaries. I don't know how I could have remembered half the summaries when it's just such a large amount, and I have to kind of make this a reasonably sized video, so I just can't be going on and on about books. So please let me know how you would like me to do them. If it's like after a certain amount that you want me to do them, smaller hauls, huge hauls, if you like this kind of style, or monthly, it's up to you. So thank you so much for watching though today, guys. I'm so excited to add these into my bookshelves. I recently did a book unhaul with this in mind because I wanted to be able to add all of these on because I may or may not be filming a bookshelf tour soon before I get out of this house because I am moving, and I would like to have a little capture image of what my bookshelves look like at the very end of this year. So I'm going to be reorganizing this, maybe filming a bookshelf tour. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye! I don't know what that was, but